Hi, I haven't done an update in a while, so I thought I would do one today. Now, just a quick reminder that my journey to inner peace started at the level of memories and emotions. I never expected the journey to become physical, but that's what's happened. I worked through different thresholds of self-awareness, becoming aware of my emotions, then the physical sensations underneath the emotions, then aware inside my body itself. Here's my recent video on the spectrum of awareness that talks through those different thresholds. And here's my full story in case you've never heard it before. So this is where I am now, working through tension stored in my physical body, mostly in my head, jaw, and neck, which are all connected to the rest of the body through the connective tissue. As a reminder, all this tension used to be subconscious. I was not aware of it. It was there all along, but my self-awareness was not deep enough to know that it was there. So it was hidden from me. Now, with all the previous layers, starting with the emotions and memories, I used two different methods to access the tension. First, I would use what came up in everyday life. Maybe I was triggered by something, or maybe a memory and emotion popped into my mind and body during the day. So I would work with those then. And number two, I would proactively go after what was stored inside of me. I would literally seek out tension, and we'll talk more on that later, which is often painful. It might have been painful memories, painful emotions. These days, it's painful tension inside my body. Now, at this physical level, once I found this pain or tension, I might use one of three different methods to release it. One, I would hold my awareness on the tension. Hold it at tension until I feel something release. Then I take a breath and I do it again. Two, I will hold my awareness on the tension again, just like in one. Then I will use active imagination in the form of imagining the end of a straw hovering over the tension that I feel inside and allowing the stuck energy to be sucked up through the straw and released. And three, I will sometimes use the technique that I call blowing through tension, which I explain in this video, until I feel something release. And then I do it again. Note that where I am feeling a release is rarely the place where the pain or tension is, where I'm holding my attention, although it is connected to it somehow through the connective tissue. Another way of saying that is that I am paying attention to somewhere that has pain or tension, and the release happens elsewhere. Most of the tension that I'm releasing now is accessed through my jaw. I will open my jaw to any point where I feel pain or tension. It may be open a little or a lot. I will then hold it in that position, hold it at tension using one of the three techniques that I just mentioned until I feel a release. Then I do it again. At the end of this video, I have 9-second segments that you can hear the releases if you have a good sound system. So this is what it's like. I can feel tension in here when I hold my jaw like this. And I just hold it like that. I don't need my fingers. I just hold it like that until I feel a release. Then I do it again. Moving on. Some days these days, I can put my awareness, I believe, inside my brain, which is interesting. There's still some tension in there. Also, some days when I wake up, I can literally feel my brain buzzing, which is pretty weird. I would love to have an EEG recording when it does that to know what it's doing. All of this work has been realigning my jaw. I can tell the changes in my speech since I get to edit my videos. I have released a massive amount of tension in my jaw. And as a result, my mouth naturally moves more as I talk. I'm going to show you a comparison of saying the words, how my neck, from April of 2021 and from now, October of 2025. I'm going to play it 3 times from each one, at slow speed, regular speed, and then even slower speed. Notice how tense my jaw and the tissues were in 2021 and how much more relaxed and open they are in 2025. How my neck. That relaxation is visible in this side-by-side photo from me in 2021 and 2025. I've aligned my eyes, nose, and mouth. So notice the difference in the position of my tank top straps. As you may know, I have grown close to 1 inch in my 50s, and this is where I believe the height came from. Now, I didn't even know these physical changes had happened in my chest and my shoulders until I looked back at this video from 4 years ago, just this week, just when I was putting this video together for you. And the most interesting thing for me about these changes is that I never actually focused on my shoulders or my upper chest. All the tension that I was releasing was in my cheeks and my jaw and my neck. And releasing the tension there clearly released a lot of tension in my shoulders and upper back and chest. Now, I've shown you the lack of flexibility in my neck before, but here's an updated view. The first one is from 2021, when it was fully stuck on the right. Then in 2023, when it started to move, and now in 2025. It will bend a little bit right here, but on the other side, this will not bend at all. I feel like things are loosening up, so I'm taking this video now in the hope that this will change fairly soon. This side, it's fairly loose, relatively loose, but there's just tension right here. But at least it will move that much now. Notice how freely it moves now. It's still not fully loose. There's still a lot more to release on this side. But I have released so much tension in what I believe is the axis and the atlas bones, which are the bones that work to move your head in different directions, that it now moves pretty freely. One weird, fairly recent realization, and I know how crazy it sounds to hear this, is that I can now move my upper jaw, my maxilla bone, independently of the rest of me. Not enough to see on video, but I can feel it happening. This was one of those strange things. I would feel it move, realize it was happening, then question myself because it isn't something that is supposed to be physically possible. But it happens. Here's what's happening as I release tension. Each time I release some tension, I am able to relax a little bit deeper. And that's nice. But also, each time I relax a little deeper, I come across tension that I hadn't known was there before. And that is the next layer to work on. Sometimes, not every time, but sometimes, when I release really old, deep, stagnant tension, I will notice somewhere that had clearly been compensating before will have shifted. For me, this often means that my right hip will have released slightly. Now again, I hadn't been aware that it was tight before, or a muscle in my leg might work differently than it did before. If you are still working at the level of memories and emotions, this will be the same for you, although you may not recognize it until further down the path. One really interesting part of releasing this tension is experiencing the memories as the tension is released. Within a few minutes of releasing this tension, I might be transported back to a junction that I was sitting at while I was on my way to a friend's house, or eating lasagna with my mother in a small town in England, or a scene in a movie that I watched. If you were working on your memories with EFT, this is the same as tapping on one memory and having another pop into your mind. They are connected through the tension. You are releasing tension stored in one area, and a memory that was stored with that tension releases too. These days I am giving myself more grace and allowing myself to rest more, realizing that each day is equivalent to multiple chiropractic adjustments and craniosacral sessions. I've put together a 9-second compilation of my jaw and neck cracking, taken from about 3 minutes of video, just so you can get an idea of what it sounds like. Of course, it sounds a lot louder inside of me. You may not have a sound system that's good enough to hear these. I'm sorry I can't get them any louder with my current abilities. So, what's next? More of the same. There is still a lot more physical tension to release. I suspect my skull bones are loosening. I suspect that is part of the becoming like little children part of the path. I'm hoping that at some point my eyesight will improve. I can put my awareness inside my eyes, but there is a very intense burning sensation when I do that, so I don't do it very often. I imagine as more tension is released around the eyes, it will be easier to do that though. I'll share another update when there is something significant to share. Please ask if you have any questions. I'm hoping that you are doing this work along with me. Please give this video a thumbs up to help other people find it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Click the notification bell if you want to be notified when I post another video. And watch this video up here next. Thanks for watching.